Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1861 AN. Today's date is May 7th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Economic Strategy is Working Perfectly. Watch everything flip. Now, this is the time of year that most of us have a big old clear out. We get rid of all the stuff that's collected through the winter, and lots of us have a few jobs in our lifetime. Some, I'm sure, we'd rather forget. Yet, because of these jobs, in your clear out, hidden away in the back of a cupboard or a file cabinet, there might be a gold mine. Many of those jobs came with benefit packages that probably included a 401k. Now, lots of you probably haven't given a moment's thought to those old papers they gave you when you left, but there's probably more in them right now than your checking account. And you can use that money so you don't have to miss out in your senior years. Imagine not having to worry about the bills anymore. Noble Gold can show you how to blow the financial dust off those files, revitalize the dead money, and catapult your retirement savings into orbit. Just for May, to celebrate Memorial Day, they are offering a solid silver Trump 2020 coin and a 10-ounce silver bar for anyone rolling over an IRA or cash deal over $20,000. Sound good? Talk to the team over at Noble Gold today and call 877-646-5347 and make sure to mention X22 Report to get the patriotic silver combo of 11 ounce of free silver. Protect your retirement by investing in a gold IRA, and click the link below in the description area. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we all know that whoever controls the economic narrative controls pretty much everything leading up to the next election. And Trump, thus far, has controlled the economic narrative. But he's going to be pushing this to the next level. He's going to show that he is in complete and utter control. Yes, I know the market came down today, but this is perfect. It is a setup, and Trump will use this to his advantage. We'll be discussing that in a little bit. But first, we know we're heading towards this transition. We know the Federal Reserve, it is being controlled by the patriots. We understand that we're going to be moving out of a central bank system. And to prepare the American people for all of this, what does Trump need to do? He needs to get everyone off of the government's welfare system, or most of them. As many people as he possibly can. Why? He cannot have people dependent on the government. Remember, over the many, many years, this was the entire plan. If you're dependent on the government, you are controlled. If you're not dependent on the government, guess what? You can survive on your own. Plus, going through this transition, the government will not be able to help the people. They'll be going through their own transition. Until everything is ironed out, we're going to be in a very bumpy situation. Trump knows this. Plus, he needs to cut down on the expense of all these entitlement programs. And he's at the beginning stages of doing a lot of this. Now, the Trump administration, they're looking into altering how it determines the national poverty level, which may put some Americans at risk of losing access to welfare programs. The measure is calculated at 3 times the cost of minimum food diet, adjusted every year as prices rise. It was first set in the 60s, and in 2018, a family of 4 making no more than $25,900 was considered under the poverty level. This figure determines eligibility for federal, state, nonprofit programs like Medicaid and food stamps. Now, the change is being reported as an effort by the Trump administration to make it more difficult to access welfare programs. Remember, the amount of debt the government has, the amount of tax receipts coming into the government, and the amount of interest on this debt, we know the entire system is unsustainable. This can't continue moving forward. This is why Trump, the patriots, are pushing the agenda very, very hard to basically run the entire system into the ground. And at the same time, use all this free money to build America back up. Now, if we go back in time, we know there were certain individuals that wanted everyone dependent on the government. Plus, it was easy to make these people vote a certain way, and they had complete and utter control of these people, especially if you had control over their insurance, control over their welfare, control over the food they eat, control over everything. You completely control the people. Now the opposite is happening. Trump said back in December, millions of able-bodied working-age adults continue to collect food stamps without working or even looking for work. Our goal is to move these Americans from dependence to independence and into a good-paying job and rewarding career. Yes, the government was not originally set up by the Founding Fathers to help every single American person. The government was set up to administer everything for the states in one place, foreign policy and things like that. It was not there to have everyone dependent on it. And really think about it. Why would everyone have to be dependent on government? Why does everyone need food stamps? Why do people need welfare? Why do people need all of this? Think about the central bank. Think about the dollar losing value. Think about how there aren't enough jobs, well-paying jobs. Think about the deep state, the central bank, moving corporations, manufacturers out of the United States. What does this do? Well, it makes a lot of people below the poverty line. They can't find jobs. How do you survive? Well, you need to be dependent on the government. You're stagnant throughout life. You can't move up. You can't move down. You're dependent on the money the government gives you. If they had it their way, and I'm talking about the central bank, the deep state, they would want everyone dependent on the government, which means complete and utter control. Trump is reversing this now. Now we know their trade talks are continuing with China. And the mainstream media is out there saying, well, because of these tariffs and because the trade talks are not going well, look at the stock market. It is falling. It's down like 600 points. Oh, my God. See, Trump is in trouble. Trump is ruining the economy. Well, we know what's going to happen. We know that this is just a little blip. Actually, Trump planned it this way. He knew the Chinese were going to react like this. He prepared for this. We discussed this already. And we could see already the mainstream media is jumping on this. And they're saying that Trump is going to be responsible for bringing down the economy. The Wall Street Journal was out there, and this is the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, bluntly called out Trump for threatening to impose more tariffs on China in an off-the-cuff weekend tweet, saying he is endangering the prospects of any comprehensive trade deal and possibly his own presidency. According to the journal, Trump is engaging in brinksmanship that could have a devastating effect on the economy. Now think about what is happening here. Remember, Trump needs to control the economic narrative, and he needs to show the American people that he's in complete control. Do you really think that he's going to sit here and just say, okay, listen, China's not agreeing. I'm going to place tariffs here. The stock market's going to fall, and I'm going to lose the economy. No, that's not what's happening. Trump, once again, is setting up the mainstream media. He knew China was going to react to this. He knew China wasn't going to budge. Well, they will be budging very, very soon. Remember, the tariffs really have no effect on the cost of the products to the everyday person here in the United States. The cost is at the Chinese level. And what Trump is going to do, he's going to use this against the mainstream media, against all these individuals that are saying he is bringing down the economy. Because what better way to show everyone that he is in complete and utter control, just like he did with the Federal Reserve, even though they're completely independent. So as the mainstream media blames it all on Trump, tariffs, the stock market coming down, he's no longer controlling the economy, he's losing his grip on the economy. All of a sudden, you're going to see everything flip. You're going to see everything change with China. all of a sudden, China is going to start agreeing. All of a sudden, you're going to see the stock market move up. All of a sudden, you're going to see the tariffs removed. Now, is this going to happen in a week? No. This will happen in maybe a month or two around this time frame. And Trump is going to push this very hard. He wants the mainstream media to come out and let everyone know that he's no longer in control of the economy. Then he's going to show the mainstream media is completely wrong. And the deep state, the central bank, they're going to think they're in control once again. It's a little game that he plays. Now, coming out of the conservative treehouse, they break this whole thing down. U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer is quoted today, "We felt we were on track to get somewhere. Over the course of the last week, we've seen an erosion of commitments by China. That, in our view, is unacceptable." This statement appears to be in line with the reports from Beijing about Chinese negotiators, with sources suggesting that Xi Jinping vetoed additional concessions proposed by his neighbors. Coming out of Bloomberg, Lighthizer and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin told reporters on Monday that the Chinese backsliding became apparent during their visit to Beijing last week, but that changed over the weekend when China sent through a new draft of an agreement that included them pulling back on language in the text on a number of issues, which had the potential of change the deal very dramatically. This is what Mnuchin said. At the stage, about 90% of the pact had been finalized, he said, and the Chinese wanted to reopen areas that had already been negotiated. We are not willing to go back on documents that have been negotiated in the past. This status conflict is in complete alignment with the historic Chinese worldview. It is not so much an issue with differences of opinions. The U.S. versus China trade conflict is actually a fundamental issue of cultural clashes. Each time China takes aggressive action, Red Dragon, China projects a panda face through silence and non-response to opinion of that action. And the action continues. The Red Dragon has a tendency to say one necessary thing publicly while manipulating another necessary thing privately. The art of war. Trump is the first U.S. president to understand how the Red Dragon hides behind the panda mask. It is specifically because he understands that panda is a mask that President Trump messages warmth toward the Chinese people and pours praise upon Xi Jinping while simultaneously confronting the geopolitical doctrine of the Xi regime. In essence, Trump is mirroring the behavior of China while confronting them. Trump understands this. He's not in bed with them. He's not taking bribes from them. He's not making deals where he becomes wealthy. He understands the Chinese and how they negotiate. And he can work and maneuver on their level. And he's playing the game with them. And we're going to see everything flip in his favor. This is the art of war, the art of the deal. And this is what we are watching right now. And the mainstream media, they think that he has lost the narrative of the economy. He's lost control of the market. And everything that he's doing is hurting the market and the economy. In actuality, it is actually benefiting the market and the economy in the long run. And the mainstream media is going to get caught up in this. And Trump is going to come out as the winner once again. Everything is about to flip. He's in complete and utter control of the economic system. And he's preparing, as you can see, he's preparing for this transition to move away from a central bank system. But before he does this, we all know he needs to renegotiate all these trade deals. These trade deals from the past were never in favor of the United States. They were in favor of every other country because the deep state, the globalists, the central bankers, they are planning to move everything away from the United States. He is now reversing everything and bringing everything back to the United States. And this is what the deep state, the central banks don't like. This is what the mainstream media is confused about. This is why they believe they understand what he's doing. They don't understand what he's doing. He's reverse engineering everything the central bank, the deep state, actually wanted. And the mainstream media is trying to make heads or tail of this. And they're trying to explain it away. This is why yesterday we talked about how MSNBC and all the rest are trying to make sense of this. Well, once again, he's going to show them that he is in complete and utter control. And he will show the market skyrocket again. He will show that businesses are coming back. He will show that other industries are starting to boom. And all these individuals are going to be scratching their head, wondering how this is possible. Because he's reversing everything the deep state, the central banks have put into place over the many, many years. Get prepared, get ready, because he's getting ready to transition us. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.